Hi, I watched Not Me, and here's my review. Black and White, two twins, get separated early in their lives. White goes to Russia with his dad, and Black stays with his mother in Thailand. When White comes back to Thailand, way older, he discovers Black in a coma after he was attacked. Set on the idea to find out who did this to his brother, White decides to disguise as his brother and take his life to enter his group of friends who seem, from his point of view, to be the source of the problem. What a drama! When I started it, I realized it is actually completely different from what I thought it was going to be. When we had the trailer for the very first time, I think it's when they announced this drama, when we had the first trailer, I was waiting for it, but mostly because of the casting and of course because you could clearly see it was a BL. But not so much for the theme of the drama, because I thought it was going to be a story about gangs and, this kind of things. So I was worried because of this part we saw in the trailer. But it's actually not about gangs at all. It's political. It's about politics and actual stuff happening. So I like this a lot more. At first, I wasn't sure I was going to give this drama a 10 out of 10. It's stupid, but I was really stuck between 10 and 9.5. I just couldn't figure out what rating I wanted to give this drama. Because while I really liked it, I really enjoyed it, I binged it so quickly, at the same time, I'm more of the person who likes things that are more centered around romance, which isn't completely the case in this drama. It still takes a big part of the drama, but not as much as some other dramas. Same, while I like the political aspect and everything, I think sometimes it's a bit much in this drama. In my opinion, I think they try to put a bit too many different problems in one drama, and it sometimes makes it a bit messy. Well, at least that's how it made me feel. For example, because when they start walking down the street, in the first place, is because they want to fight against this Tawi guy. So they do this march, right? But then it kind of becomes the ground to many other subjects. They tie it together at some point, I think, about women and LGBT people not being treated the same way by this guy and the company and everything. So they tie it like that. While it's nice and they want to talk about many things not going right in society and the rights of people and everything, I think everything together is just a bit too much. It's, I think, too many things to kind of concentrate about in the drama. But after sleeping it away, I realized actually how I missed this drama. I didn't realize I was this into the story until it ended. Usually when I'm really into a drama and its characters, I can tell that I'm going to cry at the end, whether it ends good or bad. I can tell. But this drama, I didn't think I was going to. I was not even thinking about it while watching it. And when the end arrived, man, I was so depressed. I finished it. I think the song they used at the end for the kiss and how the drama ends, it's the same music they used for the first kiss. I think it played a role with really kind of destroying me at the end of the drama, because this music is so good. Wow, I love it so much. It's so kind of magical and pretty. Anyway, I realized that even now, I feel like I can't start a new drama right now because I need to let go of my feels for this drama first. So that's why I decided to give it ultimately a 10 out of 10, because I realized that I was much more impacted and into the story. The story really touched me a lot more than I thought it was touching me when I was watching it. I want to quickly mention the OST. What an amazing OST. I don't know what made them decide to go look for music and not make music of their own. I don't really know what's the reason behind it. But everything they decided to use was very, very fitting in my opinion. I love the OST. I've been listening to it since last night, which actually is a very, very bad idea for my emotions. But great OST. It's a great choice they made, actually. I think I can say with confidence that this drama really enters the top best acted dramas I've seen from Thailand. What a feast. The acting is really, really good in this drama. It's really believable. It was so nice. Of course, I knew, well, from the trailer first, that it was going to be very well done. But also the fact, of course, that is off and gone. And we all know in the first place that they are very good actors and act very well. But I think it kind of exceeded my expectations. Everyone is really doing a good job. It's not just the main characters that I feel like it's often like this in Thai BLs. The main couple really do a good job, but then everyone around is a bit meh. But in this drama, wow. I have nothing to say. It's really nice. Now, on to the different couples. So, for the couple with the artist and the policeman, I really like it. It's a bit quick, I think, how they kind of develop this interest for each other, but it didn't really bother me while I was watching it. And at the end, I'm still glad they end up together, even though this thing happened with the policeman. Honestly, I liked that the policeman kind of went back on what he was doing. I kind of understand his point of view. Ultimately, he just wanted to save them all because he thought that they would be in security in prison. They would not die if they were in prison compared to other people taking them away. I can understand. It's like White said that he was at this point before where he was realizing how everything was wrong and how it can be difficult to kind of really change things and completely change, completely switch sides and completely go against the power in place, let's say. So it made it, I think, a lot more realistic that the policeman would have a hard time. But still, I'm happy they are still able to go back together at the end. Maybe I would have just liked to see the reactions of the others when he comes back. For Graham and Eugene, there is nothing much. I don't think I've seen the actress who plays Eugene before. I found her really cute, really pretty. We don't see them that much together, and while also I think that her transition from liking Black to liking Graham, or at least really giving him a chance wholeheartedly, is it's a bit too quick, I think, from her side. But ultimately, it doesn't bother me. I was actually really, really glad that Graham would be able to get this chance from her because he's been so much in love with her. And then our main couple. What a ride. Honestly, what a ride. Their relationship just really, really, really touched me. I think I could watch them together so much more. So much more. I really like how they develop and how you can see how much they love each other. Actually, I think I see it a bit more from Sean's side. Wow. And their acting. I already talked about the acting, but they're acting together too. As a couple, you can really see they are comfortable with each other. They have such a chemistry. Of course, they already acted together before as a couple too. And they are very, very good friends in real life too. So, of course, they have such a chemistry. Maybe the only thing I want to kind of talk about is how I thought their start was a bit quick, but not in the sense of getting together. I think how they get together is pretty nice. You could see kind of the tension between the two and how they seem to be a bit too interested about the other. So this was not really a problem. I think the thing that I found a bit weird when they started going out together is how they seemed already so important for each other. Like they were completely, deeply, very down, very, very in love. And it was a bit weird for me, but it didn't bother me anyway. I just enjoyed it wholeheartedly anyway. But yeah, if I wanted to say something, I think it would be this part. But yeah, no, their relationship just really touched me a lot. It's just how they help each other, how they are in the same place. You know, there's not someone above the other. It's really nice. I don't even know what to say about them because I think they were so perfect. What can you say about perfection? Little note on the garage owner. I can't remember his name. But him, that we actually don't see that much throughout the drama compared to the others, but I really, really like his character. And if there was someone to know Black was not Black, I knew it was him, and it was nice to actually know that, well, I was just right, he knew. I picked it up at the beginning when they shot together, and when he said that when he realized Black was not Black, I was so happy, but I think it was probably obvious for everyone. Two little things I found a bit odd is first that we never met White's father anymore. It's really a detail, but I thought we would at some point, but no. And second thing is how maybe I think they could have tried a bit harder in the last episode when White and Black talk together. They have this discussion together, so of course they have to take another actor. But you can, even though we only see this of his nape every time, you can clearly see they don't look alike at all. So yeah, maybe they could have made a bit more effort for this, because even though it's not really important, it was still able to kind of take me out because I noticed it too much while watching the scene. And talking about Black, we don't see him that much either, but I actually like what we see of him. It's a bit cliche, their names, but it's funny that they actually address it, their friends, when they realize, when they know. But I'm glad still that Black isn't completely black. Because it's how he mostly looks like. Even when they were kids, it was always kind of the toughest one of the two, the one who seemed a bit with less emotions, if I could say. But I'm glad he is not completely like that, and he really opens up in front of his brother, and you can see how much he cares for his brother. So I'm really happy we got to see this side of him towards the end. Actually, I forgot another thing that I found a bit weird, but ultimately was never really a problem for me, is at the beginning how White decides so quickly to become Black. From one side, I can completely understand, but on the other, it was a bit too quick. I think a bit more development would have been nice. Also, I wonder how much time passed, because as a person with tattoos, I know a tattoo doesn't heal in a few days only. It's a pretty long process, and at first it really hurts. Finally, I can't finish without mentioning Todd. Of course, Todd at first, well, very likable character. I don't know if anyone picked on that it was him before when I did. For me, when I started to get suspicious about him is when White went to his house and we saw for the first time that Todd is actually a crazy rich guy. Because at first we actually don't know much about him at all. And it never occurred to me that he could be rich and this rich. But when I realized that, that's when I started to get suspicious about him. And yeah, indeed it was him. At some point it couldn't be anyone else. And actually, something I forgot to write is I like how it ends, how in the end nothing changed. It makes it a lot more realistic. People are just going to be mad for a while going in the street, but you know, it's not going to affect anything. And it's actually sad because it's true. It's sad because it's true. So I like that it ends the way it does because it's a lot more realistic. They kind of have some wins. They started to make people aware. They started a movement. But leaving it this way with this ending, with nothing resolving and kind of nothing, let's say, concrete done, really shows that they still have to keep fighting, that it's not the end. It's not because they had some wins that it's over, that they've won. I think maybe to some people it could be a bit underwhelming because it's a bit like they fought the whole time for nothing, because at the end nothing changes at all. Literally, Tawi is still in place and everything, so nothing changed. But I do like it. I think it's more realistic, and maybe it can help also viewers see that it's kind of a battle of every day, and every time, even if you have a win, that doesn't mean it is the win. Like they like to say, even if you take one out, another just like him is going to replace it. So I really like the whole idea behind the end and how it stops just like this. But yeah, whew, I think that's all I have to say about this drama. Hopefully I didn't forget anything else, like I almost forgot this. Honestly, really, really good drama. I didn't know, I wasn't expecting to give it 10 out of 10 at all before I started it. Very excited to start it anyway, and very happy I was able to not spoil myself. So yeah. If you haven't watched it, which I doubt if you're watching this video, but if you haven't, watch it. You're not going to regret it. As for me, I think I'm gonna need a bit more time to kind of heal, especially when I keep listening to the OST and it makes me want to cry every time. So I think I'm gonna need a moment, but I'm sure I will watch this drama again and I would 100% recommend it to others. So yeah. Little clap for this very, very good drama. And again, I hope GMM can continue what they are doing and releasing gradually, if they need to, more and more very good quality content like this. At this point, I'm almost wishing we could see Off and Gun again in another drama, but I know at some point they will probably stop doing it. But I'm not going to say no if they want to continue. So yeah, don't hesitate to tell me your thoughts about this drama. I actually saw some mitigated comments about it, so don't hesitate to tell me. And with this, I'm done and I'll see you in another video. Bye bye!